Alright, so when we last left off with the Order of the Swan, you had teleported to the Celestial Firmament, reported into Princess Tilvaris, got lunch at Not Fantasy Starbucks. Audrey's entire city disappeared. Well, the population did. Until someone had the bright idea to go and find out where Fleur was. Because she had information that you didn't. Found out you were being followed by a fox. Cerbon didn't know anything about people's locations. But Tong, the fox following you, did. And so you teleported to Waldemar, where you returned after a long time to the Swan's Nest, the house that you have had more or less from the very beginning of this campaign. Got a bit briefing and you're figuring out plans. And at the moment, Tong, who is essentially your Uber to Grimmice, has teleported back to somewhere via the wish spell. But yeah, that leaves you in yeah, Cerbon is making a tea from a I believe it was a juniper tree root. They had taken a nibble on and got dealt a lot of damage.
Forbidden tea.
The tea. Yes.
Fortunately, the British can still drink it, because as we all know, they're more evil than this evil cold.
Let's not be too harsh on them. Not all of them are evil.
Right, some of them are Welsh.
Or Irish.
Or Scottish.
Yeah, there's quite a few.
Bold of you to assume Scotland's going to stay in the UK.
I mean, the courts have blocked their latest attempts for a referendum.
Sounds like a great way to have an armed revolution. They can all are good friends, the Irish Republican Army.
Yeah, but Ireland's neutral.
The IRA certainly isn't. Ireland arguably isn't when the British are involved.
But yes, current character or characters or semi-current characters.
Liv's busy turning the satanic altar in the basement. Also putting a child lock, because apparently that's a problem.
A while.
I meant Harmony. Arson can get into whatever satanic ritual he wants to get into.
What do you think Harmony's going to get into?
Who the fuck knows, but she has fiendish blood, unlike Arson. Much bigger risk.
I see. Well, give me a religion check.
Yes. With the religious lion that went to school for religion, has a theology degree. Of course.
Well, isn't he also infernal? Or no, fiendish?
Yeah, don't worry about it. The cat did not help much.
Nah, if anything,
Fortunately,
yes.
Fortunately, the Liv is an expert on setting up child locks on satanic rituals because she had to get through her mother's child locks on the satanic rituals.
If I'm remembering correctly, you also made this thing.
Oh, yes, she did. We don't question the fact that there's a blood altar in the basement. We just go along with it, along with 90% of the Order of the Swan and Liv.
Okay, well, since you're the one that made it, you are able to lessen the effects. Is still present.
Yeah, it's okay. As long as they're no longer attuned to, the archdevil that wants to gut us, and instead the still incredibly evil infernal goddess.
Yeah, child locks
Big
on the other
difference.
hand. Yeah, child locks on the other hand. Well, you're going to have a bit of a hard time finding a child lock that open and close at whim versus a 15-year-old monk. Bio-locking mechanisms don't exist yet.
That's what the noble elite want you to think.
Yes, because it's true.
Only if you ascribe to mainstream truth and science. Anyways, I don't know. Audrey's more so waiting for the forbidden tea to come to fruition.
Okay.
So that's a question for Sturbon.
Indeed. You'll be able to fix yourself food. All right. For making the forbidden tea, go ahead and make me a survival check, adding proficiency for cooking utensils if you have proficiency of that.
It's also helping.
Guess this is me.
Yes, you're the one making the tea. But my point stands, the bird is also helping.
What was that again? Survival?
Mm-hmm.
Or...
Well, okay, the bird is there.
So, advantage.
I don't know if she can help a whole bunch more.
She made it worse. Just a little bit worse.
Only slightly. She's still very skilled at poisoning people.
Oh.
It's honestly a little terrifying.
Yeah. You're not sure exactly how to make this into a tea. I mean, you know how to make tea. It's just that this is slightly different, and the bird is trying to be helpful, but is not really being helpful. So, you have what you think is poisonous tea. It should be pointed out that Yes,
Tasting water.
perhaps not.
Sorry.
When Tong cast teleportation or cast wish to use teleport, looks like she accidentally left her spell book there. She encodes her spell book.
Like any good wizard, my point stands, even if she didn't. Arguably, she doesn't have to.
So it's safe. You finished making the tea, Servon, or at least what can pass as tea. And made yourself some food after tasting the root.
Fortunately, we have a very adequate test subject. Hey, Silvar, get over here. Try this cup of mysterious black liquid.
Now I know what you did with it. I am not drinking it.
I mean, I've done nothing to it.
Oh yeah, sure, you haven't, but I know what, I saw what happened to Stervon. Didn't look too pleasant.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe all the toxins got boiled out. Do it for science.
It was delicious, by the way. No need to check.
Weird flex, but
This
okay.
is a joke. For legal reasons, this is a joke, she says, as the bird is going to do the familiar thing of checking if this is poison or not.
Okay. Go ahead, roll a Constitution save for the bird.
Does this really matter?
Maybe. The bird is going to go poof either way, but I just want to see if it saves or not. Yeah, as soon as the bird tastes it, it goes poof.
Okay, that proves nothing, Starbon. We should so probably have Silvar drink this.
No. I think we're good.
She says, if you look over her shoulder, she's writing down, yes, this is definitely poison. The bird just got poisoned. Look. Surely. So, what the fuck's your plan with this? Keep it in a flask if you ever want to take your own life. Because, I mean, there are better ways to do that. Prior to prior to the whole going poof situation, the scientists at my family's estate were working on these things called guns that could be given to the masses and lodge a bullet between your eyes past the speed of sound. It's almost entirely painless.
Could just give it to someone you don't like.
Political assassination. Fair point. Silvar, drink this.
Stop.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
If there was ever going to be a time where we were required to fill out a survey of who our traveling companions we considered friends, you're probably the only person that was going to make that list, Audrey. And now I'm starting to question it.
That's a... Wait. How the fuck am I the only one?
Okay. Daeun is Daeun.
Yeah, sure. But one of them is, probably the nicest person on the goddamn planet. Apparently, everyone likes Chomper. I have no strong feelings one way or the other about you, Sturbon. You are completely fucking neutral, which is both somehow a compliment and an insult, and I don't know which one I mean it as.
Why not
We shall
both?
say hi, Jake.
Arguably, yes, because that's the neutral option.
Oh, dear me.
That's kind of the reason why you don't make the list either, Esteban. It's just you're so what's the word I'm looking for? Ambivalent.
Ambivalent.
You
So
exist.
you can't tell if I'll pull the trigger or help you in a situation, I'm guessing.
Oh no, given who your traveling companions usually tend to be, 9 times out of 10, I expect you to stab me in the back. I want to point out, I am including myself in those traveling companions.
Good to know I need to invest in better armor in the back then.
I just want to point this out. The Order of the Swan does not exactly bode the most confidence in not stabbing people in the back. Again, I am including myself in this equation.
Not to mention you are a tiefling of despair.
It was thought about. I'm better
No,
at the whole.
Back to what you say, like about certain someone. I had to be that person's bodyguard for a long time. I had to be around her constantly.
Stockholm Syndrome is a thing. I'm sorry, fantasy Stockholm Syndrome. Wherever fantasy Stockholm is. Wherever the fuck fantasy Sweden is.
Now, it's the
Frankly
kind of
speaking,
thing
I
where you
think-
get tired of being around someone for extended periods of time.
Frankly speaking, I think that's like at least a solid 30% of why you have yet double cross Iran. To be fair, the remaining 70% is the fact that you don't double cross an Archfey.
Exactly.
But fantasy Stockholm Syndrome definitely plays a part in that.
You just appeared one day.
People just randomly appear. You don't sign on the dotted line.
Look, he was.
Then again, given the sounds of it, this is. Though, to be fair, given the sounds of it, this is also exactly how you ended up as the herald to an ancient, possibly homicidal cult.
Group, yeah. Because of what happens, we don't really want to draw attention to ourselves.
Yeah, mystery cult is not exactly the best excuse for, oh, we're not homicidal. You did hear what the cult of Dionysus did to that poor kid Orpheus, right?
Yes.
She turns to Sturbon. They tore him limb from limb. And then kept his head because it kept singing. Honestly, that's the most fucked up part.
I tore him limb from limb because he was crying about his dead wife to the point with the literal land was dying around him?
No. That was after that. He had already went to the underworld and then fucked that shit up. But yeah, I digress.
Yeah. Around it, Fleur was his first warlock, and he got all excited, started putting out ads. Like it was in the Warlock Monthly magazine.
Yeah, that definitely sounds like an archfey. But if I may, your whole it's not a possibly homicidal cult sort of gets brushed under the rug when one of the gods in question is akin to Tiamat. Like I'm look, I heard what you technically said, and she's not Tiamat, which is, definitely a plus. The con to this is she doesn't sound much better.
Well, hey, look, we won't know until they're released.
Look, I'm just here to play, the whole AO gang. Let's not all murder each other. Well, she points to the mystery black liquid. That's going down.
Oh, you mean with those fallen chosen people? I think that's my problem. Well,
I mean, I think it's an everyone problem.
Yeah, but they're going after people like Cerbon.
Oh, I mean, you live on this planet too, Silvar. It's an everyone problem.
Yeah, no, I just had a realization that means they're going after Fleur, which means if something happens to her, then Aran's going to get angry, and it's going to be all of his Warlock's problems.
Yes, in a very direct sense, it's also a you problem, but you currently live on the by us. Congratulations, buddy. Congratulations, buddy. You're gonna outlive me. Valid option, but my point stands.
Oh, that was so long ago.
I was just double checking. Quite a bit of time ago, yeah.
Yeah, now that it's mentioned, yeah, I do remember that.
Yes, there was some reason for doing so.
I mean, to be fair, part of it was Liv made you come inside when it started snowing, but
yeah,
you couldn't turn into literally fire for 8 hours yet. Now you can, so more power to you. I wouldn't stay in that tree.
Alright, now it's actual
just
winter.
Just goes to sleep in the fireplace pretending to be the fire.
Sturbog goes on and on about how he hates forest fires, and then sleeps in a tree as a fire elemental.
I mean, I'm pretty sure as a fire elemental, you have enough, I don't know. Would he light the tree on fire as a fire?
I would argue yes. Even if you're not spreading the fire, the amount of heat you start putting off is going to cause the wood to combust. That's just physics.
Fahrenheit
But who said we
451.
wanted physics in this? No.
I mean, especially fire elemental. Fire. That shit had gotta be hot. It comes from the, elemental plane of fire.
I mean, it could just be like, wait.
I mean, theoretically, you could
could
also
just
turn
look
into a
like-
blue fire elemental. Yeah,
True.
what you know about blue fire?
Way hotter. I mean, you could also change what color you are just by simply consuming the raid.
Yeah, I mean, sure, you can do it. You can go the whole fucking physics route, chemistry route, I guess, and just start burning certain chemicals to change your flames. But why would you?
Because it's a little more intimidating if you're just this white. Wait, if you're just rainbow color or something, just keep changing
Yes.
colors. Just
Yes. These Birchmass cultists start shedding their pants when the gay fire.
The true goal of going to Grime Ice, not to discover what happened, but to raid the castle's laboratories.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that's 90% of why people are agreeing to come is to raid the castle laboratory.
Yeah. Anyway, those of you with rooms, you go to your rooms to sleep. Cerebon, if you choose to brave the winter weather, you can go ahead and sleep in the tree.
As a spirit of nature, I think I'll be fine.
You know what? Just to be fucking nice, and also so I don't wake up to the spirit of nature setting a tree on fire. Audrey will outside and cast tiny hot on the tree and sleep with you.
I mean, if worse comes to worse, I could just turn into like, I don't know, an air element. I'm sure those things don't give a fudge about the cold.
They do. They take cold damage.
Sure, but like, technically speaking, they fly pretty high up. It should be.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose if you start flying high enough, like, you don't have to worry about suffocation. But I'm not saying it's much better. Oh yes, let us go to the mesosphere. That will solve the cold problem.
Just head up to space. It'll be fine.
You will be warm for the rest of your.
Technically,
Technically speaking, yes, because negative pressure differentials would cause you to explode. And unlike with your body, which just sort of starts boiling and bloats, it would just cause you to explode because you do not have skin. Which, I mean, I suppose is better than if you turned into a water elemental and went into space, because then you would start, boiling.
I mean, boiling or turning into an ice. Could be a steam elemental, could be an ice.
No, you would start boiling for the same reason your saliva boils in space. The lack of pressure causes any impurities in the water elemental to try and escape, and you would start cold boiling. And that would probably feel even worse than hot boiling. Oh, that's nothing to say about, the radiation, but who the hell cares about that?
No one.
You're not going to live long enough to worry about it. Best case scenario, right? Sturbon wild shapes into a tardigrade and just goes to sleep. And then after 8 hours has to transform again very quickly, or else he starts dying. But
I think an earth elemental would have a decent chance of surviving and you wouldn't have to go to sleep.
well, Because you don't have to. Actually, that's an interesting question. Fire elements oxygen in the literal fire hellscape that is the atmosphere on the elemental plane of fire.
I don't know how
fire
to answer that.
elementals do not need to breathe.
Now,
Fire elementals don't need to breathe, eat, or sleep.
Now, here's the real question. What if we threw Arson into space with his head, with all of his limbs and head as water and his chest as a rock? Would Arson turn into an Arson comet?
Yeah, he would die, yes.
Well,
Yes,
unfortunately, we cannot answer that question because Soul has, in fact, left the Discord server.
Yeah, I noticed. This is a question for God.
These are questions that God refuses to answer.
Furthermore, technically speaking, asteroids are part of nature. Therefore,
so is everything else.
Therefore, could Sturbon cause the KT mass extinction event?
Yes.
Well, I suppose we have our nuclear option now.
I'm pretty sure that's a spell druids can use.
I don't think druids get access to Meteor Swarm. Audrey will get access to Meteor Swarm. But there's a very keen difference between the Meteor Swarm meteors and, the Tunguska event or the Yucatan event.
I'm sure if Sturbin wanted to, he could summon a couple of Earth Elementals out there at just the right point to drop them through orbit as a giant meteorite.
Yeah.
I mean, this also raises the question. Technically speaking, gravity is also a natural phenomena. Could Sturbung, in fact, create a Kugelblitz?
Oh God.
Yeah. Why don't Sturbun solve all of our problems and you just cause the Siberian traps to explode? Yeah. Genomysa is this world's version of Russia. So I'm pretty sure there are some traps there. Just cause the Permian Triassic extinction.
Yeah, we could just cause a mass extinction event and just not have to deal with this issue.
I would love to imagine this Eldritch deity and occultist just watching Starman pull this and go, wow, that was unexpected. Fortunately, I'm prepared for the unexpected, so it doesn't really affect me. But well played.
Well, I didn't expect that, but I expected to not expect that, so it doesn't count.
Well, at that
the question is, do these beings need any pawns?
I mean, technically speaking, an Eldritch being, if we're going Lovecraftian, yeah, kinda. Until the stars align properly and Dread Cthulhu rises out of really, but after that, you just gotta look around and be like, what the hell happened here?
So technically, if we just wiped out all life on the planet,
yes,
we would save the planet.
It would immediately solve our problem if we just nuked the planet. And the best part is as long.
Oh gosh.
So you see, the Twin Divines might not be glad with this plan, but at least we have Plan Z. If all of it fails, we just nuke everything and start over.
So that is Plan whatever letter is less in the Hebrew alphabet.
Yeah. The very last letter.
This is our worst case scenario. Just fuck it. I suppose technically speaking, sans vampires, the undead would survive.
Who knows? You might create more undead.
Yes, a Sirak comes from his Tomb of the Nine Horrors on the Monte Scalati and goes, "What the hell happened here? I haven't got time for this shit. I'm going back to bed." Like, honestly, at that point, you would draw Vecna's attention, and not for like a scary reason, more so he could just shake. Well played, nerd.
Alright, so Audrey, you get your 4-hour-long rest. Are you just going to stay outside, make sure Sterbon stays inside the dome?
Yes, we are going Stephen King on Sterbon.
Dear. Mildly concerning.
Yeah, just
Stay
recreate the
under the
ending of The
dome.
Shining.
Oh yes, another option if shit hits the fan.
What, The Shining?
I mean, any Stephen King novel, yes. I mean, at least a solid half of them involve Nyarlathotep. I'm pretty sure we can convince Nyarlathotep for plan nuke the planet. I think you would get a kick out of that, in all honesty.
8 hours pass, the sun doesn't rise because you're that high up north. But you eventually come to wakefulness. And the people inside are still asleep, at least the guests are, except for Vogley, who, as it happens, has the trance aspect of his elven side.
Look, all I'm saying, Sterbon, is that if this deal doesn't go through between the Twin Divines and the Dragon Gods, I will just send you to a demi-plane after you nuke the planet. Scorched Earth is an option here, and it's an option at this point I'm kind of willing to take. Isn't that right, Tong?
I mean, sure.
I think everyone else who's alive would have complaints about that, just saying.
That sounds like a them problem. Actually, actually, speaking as an elf, the entire elven population would just have to, like, wait for you to seed life on this planet again. We'd be fine.
Now, I do have something to do. If you will excuse me for a moment.
So the question about the elves, are there any cultists among the elves for the corrupted beings?
Honestly, there's probably a good chance.
So the Scorched Earth policy wouldn't work at all then?
Well, so here's the upside. After, about 2 decades of life, they just stop having memories of their past life of wanting to murder everyone on the planet.
As this conversation's going on, you hear the sound of a firecracker going off upstairs. Tong quickly comes running down the stairs. Oh, I forgot my spellbook here.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not quite sure how many wizards are here, sans me, but even if I wanted to read it, which I have honor and shit, you cannot write.
So that means you have read it.
No, I've seen her handwriting. She helped me decipher this shit. She pulls out the transcribed weird Coptic spellbook.
I am also a wizard, if you recall. not as powerful as Lao Tong. Wait, no, Tong Lao Shi here. Someone refers to me by a title. Oh, how wonderful!
Yeah, you don't deserve that.
Oh, deserve what?
To be referred to as a title. Frankly speaking, I'm gonna be real with you, Chief. As bad as with names as I am, you're kind of lucky I'm calling you by your real name.
Well, I have, since I went back to McIsle, really, you people have terrible naming conventions. I went and got some maps of the island for you people to take a look at, just to see if they are to your liking. So she'll pull out a map and lay it down on the table. So, this particular one is
Actually, good. Like 70% chance he's currently turning his sword on and off in the corner, and has been doing that for the past 8 hours.
Mildly terrifying.
I mean, this is Daehun Stormbender we're talking about.
but that was Fleur comes and sits down at the table, rubbing her eyes. Was that absolutely necessary? Oh, quite. After all, you do have a part of your Archfey pact to live up to. I don't think that's what he meant. He's an Archfey. What does he mean?
I mean, blowing out your eardrums is what we like to call in the biz a little bit of trolling.
Of a troll.
Look, what we call a minor amount of trolling is homicide.
Sure.
So, that should say something about how fucked the scale is.
I think the little bit of trolling is more property damage wise.
Over Fleur Sending Stone, Liv just says, I don't honor people who light fireworks in the house. I saw you coming, by the way. I don't need to sleep. She goes, as you just hear the rustling of a page, she seems to be reading the newspaper.
As a de facto leader of Lair, really, just get a better name for these places, please.
No, we prefer people to have headaches trying to figure it out. Makes it harder to invade, you know?
Well, look, I realize Liv is living up to her new role with her dad jokes, but really, that's childish.
Actually, no, that's an entirely valid strategy to keep invaders at bay. As much as I loathe the border gore up north with the bad on the border, it has in fact managed to complete province in this country.
Anyway, you will see on this map where our vague plans for the city streets. And you got the teleportation tower and then Kamiya Cottage, right above Mikhail's lair. You notice that the lake does indeed have a name now. You're calling it Lake N, which means salt. They could have called it Great Salt Lake, but I think they knew that was taken. Yes, this is the general plan. You know, general street plan, at least the major roads, we have yet to decide where everything is going to go. We are thinking that the industrial area will be over towards the tower area, up northeast. Yes, northeast of Lake N.
Why must we always sacrifice something?
Because we don't want to take
over the general street layout. It's goddamn fucking labyrinthian. Oh no, the labyrinth actually goes. She lifts up the 2 sheets of paper and puts it down underneath there.
I'm less fond of this then.
But speaking of industrial areas, she points over here. This is where we're going to put the curse factory. I will not be taking criticism.
Where now?
She points right next to the forest in this area zoned for industry.
Liv, nice of you to
That
join
just
us.
randomly gets destroyed.
What? Mass-produced curses are a very needed staple service in most countries.
Do we really need one on the island, though?
I'm just going to ignore it. I'm going to ignore the fact that you said that because you're my wife and I love you. Speaking of which, Sturbon, I got you a souvenir. She pulls out a fucking curse tablet and hands it to you.
What's it do?
I mean, curse the souls of your enemies.
It probably writes something
You
on it,
simply-
toss it into a river, and supposedly the gods will do whatever it is to curse that person.
You can also smash it over somebody's head. Frankly speaking, make your own goddamn fate. Speaking of which, I mean, that being said, a lot of curse tablets do actually work because apparently Dread Hades and his wife have nothing better to do than fucking over random mortals in particular.
This may be
I threw about 5 in. I mean, I threw about 5 on that island that we went to just to curse Daehun alone.
This map may be show the general street layout, but that is the major roads. Where people will live, they'll make streets for that. I'm thinking most of the empty areas might be devoted to farming. Outcasts of society on that island.
I really, it's surprising.
No. I've lived through 500 years worth of...
Between Daehun, Sturbon, myself, you,
I'm not a
plus
social...
Soflar.
I'm not a social outcast.
You're-
I'm a wanderer.
You're currently in the cave that belongs to the dragon in my head. She says, muttering to herself, you didn't get bullied in dragon school, did you?
No, we don't have
Dragon
dragon
school's
school.
not a thing, is it?
No, it isn't.
Alright, so she points over here. This is where we're setting up the dragon high school. I will not be taking criticism. Especially from you, Mick. I sort of got over the fact that Mick's now in here. Mostly because this is more of a punishment for Mick than it is for me.
Yes, by the way, because you decided to spend so much of your time here, the house is completed and it's fully furnished.
Oh, neat, we get the fucking Skyrim treatment.
How nice.
Yeah, just spring that open. There's walls and people with big pointy sticks on those walls.
Oh well, we do have a. They are constructing a wall along the coast. It's just not a very
and
tall wall.
and and Sturbon's local bear population has been not located in the middle of the city.
They want any bears to begin with.
Actually, she points to another. Actually, wait, no. She points to another place, uh, conspicuously right next to the curse factory.
So that is what it is around Lake N. Really wish Dehun was here so we could go over this. But this is McTail. At least the beginnings of what will be McTail. The faded lines are the flattest area, right? The flattest areas between the hills and the ocean. Well, they mark out where it's flattest.
Yes. I mean, we need more high explosives before we can set up the high-speed rail system. I get it.
Yeah.
She just sort of looks over her tongue like, I'm not fucking American. I'm gonna set up a high-speed rail system on this island. Car-based infrastructure sucks, man.
Well, that it does. It is also much better for the environment that you don't have a car-based system where people can use the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think Starbond would be for it too.
The main problem is that there's because Mikhail is half black, he causes so much growth that it is going to be difficult to make the roads. In fact,
yeah.
but this is just a survey of the area of what we think might go where. We haven't begun building over there simply because it's, well, except for Dehun's Guild Hall. We can't really get over there that easily.
Real. So, is this the part where I throw you under the bus, Turbon?
Why?
Well, out of everyone here, would you rather I just go through and start burning the jungle? Or do you want to, responsibly clear a road? Because, frankly speaking, I'm pretty sure between me and the giant fuck you lizard in my head, we can burn down the jungle.
Well, perhaps not burn, but melt. Although I suppose I do have the radiant beam. That might just make the plants grow faster.
That's an excellent point. We really need to figure out how you can use spells again. It's kind of weird that you can't. At least you can poison the hell out of everything with acid and not poison, but also turning water into raw sewage. That's a completely separate issue.
It only happens to my enemies.
I mean, yes, and I thank you for being mature enough to not turn the lake that we're trying to make the center of our economy into raw sewage. It is very mature of you.
Well, I don't have to do that. It's just ocean water that has seeped through the ground.
Yeah, we should probably purify that lake.
Well, that would mean cutting off the lake from the ocean. And then purifying the water.
I mean, that's not really a problem for you, me, the spirit of nature, and the archmage in the room. I'm pretty sure between the four of us we can figure out a way to do this.
Perhaps, but most of the world at this point doesn't have that technology level.
I meant use magic. I mean, we could use Sturbon like one of those like a cursed filtration stick.
Well, sure, but how can he maintain that for the rest of time?
I mean,
Yeah.
we only need him to maintain that while we're trying to block off the river.
Or I could just make a freshwater well. We could just make a well.
Silence, boy. We're doing this the hard way, and preferably one that turns you into charcoal.
Why do you want me to be charcoal?
Honestly, because it's kind of funny. You have to understand, much like Tong and Turku the Tear, 90% of my actions are just what will make me laugh the most.
How nice.
Yeah.
I'll be sure to
I mean,
write
if it wasn't for, someone here in this room, not naming names, Silver would have already had a knife in his back.
And this is why I still don't trust our agreement, despite the claim of Charlatan's honor.
I didn't know
Sweetie.
charlatans had honor.
That's the point. That's the point. We don't.
But, Sweetie, please, given my father's upbringing, I can do it non-lethally. You could throw... Actually, can kobolds grow their tails back like geckos? I'm not suggesting we perform this experiment on you. I'm suggesting we find a random kobold and cut off his tail.
Alright, why don't you find that ghostly kobold that was here so many months ago?
Well, part of it is I don't think he's, legitimately the ghost of a kobold. Also, he's been weirdly absent, and I don't know how to feel about that.
It has been kind of eerie.
I'm not suggesting, poltergeist, please show up. But, it is kind of more disconcerting when the poltergeist doesn't make any noise.
I see.
Yeah, Nick, I know, you get what I'm saying, don't you?
Yes. Okay. You expect there to be some noise because it was here in the past, but now he is weirdly absent. It is too quiet.
Yeah. Actually, I feel similarly about you.
Oh. Care to explain?
Yeah, if you just stopped talking to me one day, I'd be more disconcerted. I mean, I'd be even more disconcerted if I couldn't turn into a big fuck you lizard anymore. But
I thought you wanted to separate us.
I meant if I didn't know why you're no longer in my head. If you just fucking up and vanished, it's more disconcerting. Frankly speaking, I would think you would feel the same way if you just woke up in your draconic form and there was no explanation as to why I'm not here.
Yeah, I take that as I've finally been liberated.
I mean, given our current circumstances, eventually your form would revert, and you would have to deal with my body. And my body is incredibly high maintenance.
Yeah, you made it high maintenance.
I mean, Only some of that is the alcoholism.
It's not just that.
Okay, yeah, sure, the drugs in college.
More.
And that one time I sold a kidney. It wasn't actually even mine, so I don't know why that negatively affected me.
And
Speaking of which, Sturbon, if you notice a scar in your back, you don't notice a scar on your back.
Why does that have to come up now?
Would you rather it never did? Okay, well then I won't bring up the fact that one time I sold a chunk of Silvar's liver to pay for my wedding ring.
wait, what?
What do you mean? I said I didn't do that. She leans over to Sturbon and whispers in Infernal. Oh, Ron was cool with it, don't worry. Actually, he was the one who suggested it.
Who said he even had a liver in the first place?
I mean, I would imagine the kobold has a liver. For numerous reasons. Okay, maybe not Turku, but Turku's a special case. I don't know if Turku has, like, organs.
Why wouldn't he have organs?
See, there's
Kraken.
certain
Kraken.
things. Instead of the long explanation, we could go with that.
I think we've taken enough time. The two of you do let me know if you want me to take you back to Mikhail, if you so desire to inhabit your house and not have us Kitsune and Uli Jing have the run of it.
I believe you mean the three of us. No, I'm not referring to the fact that she's pregnant. I'm referring to the dragon in my head. Actually, hold up. Yeah, you should probably yeah, for I love you, by the way. I I should probably go to the island. That way I don't have to listen to the dragon in my head start, like, groaning at me for the next 8 hours, thanks to that comment from Tong.
You should know that we did manage to get Tyros on the island, and he's helping out with the construction. Who knows if he'll be able to not light everything on fire and make it go Tokyo during the World War II.
I mean,
okay, look, I realize that's in bad taste considering who my girlfriend is, but give me a break.
on the one hand, I think it balances out because you're Chinese and given what they did in World War II. On the other hand, fair point. I'm gonna throw this out there, Tong. Everything going to, like, Tokyo in World War II on us, on the island, does not affect me in the slightest. You would have to deal with Sturbon, however. Massive forest fire. Discuss.
A pain in the backside to clean up. Please don't do it.
Look, I'm not saying that I would do it. I'm saying he might do it by accident. In which case, it would actually be more akin to Chicago.
Fair point.
Sure,
I mean, at least it's not, a Hiroshima.
Well, who knows? We might have an earthquake of Lisbon on our hands.
Look, actually, wait. Hey, Mick.
What?
Your island's not in any, like, seismic activity thing, right?
There has to be some activity, otherwise an island wouldn't be there.
Well, okay, there's a difference between it being like a Hawaii and an Iceland.
I mean, I do have to say, he is right, and I am quite impressed with the progress you've made, Mick, and speaking without telepathy. But, he is quite right. There does tend to be some kind of activity, either volcanic or tectonic.
Yeah, but I mean, if you set off Mount Kilauea to Electric Boogaloo, there's a big difference between setting off, that and an earthquake that could cause half the island to collapse into the ocean.
I'm pretty sure it's more of a Hawaii situation, considering we've managed to find hot springs on the southern side of the island.
That doesn't prove anything. Iceland also has hot springs. Shit, man. Japan has hot springs. They're on the Ring of Fire. It's called the Ring of Fire for a reason.
A vast majority of the people on the island are from this world's equivalent of East Asia. Right. Most of you don't understand what it is, but Liv understands. And they are used to such situations occurring.
Look, I'm not suggesting that we can't deal with the whole architecture bit. Speaking of which, set up earthquake-proof architecture.
We're not idiots.
Also, hey Mick, is your island in the path of a hurricane season?
I wouldn't know because my layer always has a mile diameter of clear weather, while the other 6 are covered in fog.
Okay, well, I would imagine, you could see a Category 5 storm just suddenly clearing like Moses parting the Red Sea.
It does get quite a bit of rain, but not... it wouldn't be like Katrina or any other hurricane or typhoon, if that's what you're asking.
Right, we're on tropical Britain. Oh, that feels bad. Tropical Ireland.
Hey, just be glad you're living directly over the layer. You'll always have a clear sky.
I mean, I feel like the underlying point of it being tropical Ireland can stand. Also, outside of, draconic magic and the spirit of nature right there, should we not be concerned that there's no rain on the island?
There is rain on the island. It does rain. Sometimes we get storms.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is we don't have to worry about, a monsoon coming up off the coast,
Yes.
but freak storms just happen. Cool. Actually, the island in itself is bigger than, a mile across. She says, pulling out the full map that she has, going... This might be a problem for Daehoon.
Oh, in what way?
He's outside of a mile radius of the lake, and therefore, monsoon season.
I'm sure you'll be fine.
I don't think he's going to like it. I don't have to worry about it. I grew up with two sisters. I'm very good at ignoring people. This just feels like a problem for Daehun. That being said, and I suppose this could sound a bit culturally insensitive, but given the climate and the area that he's setting up, we could probably set up a bunch of rice paddies there.
I mean, that's kind of what I've been thinking of setting up towards Lake N. And I refuse to call it Lair or Lairton until you come up with an actual name.
Okay, Lair McLairface.
Very funny.
I appreciate that.
That was a joke.
You know, you shouldn't have told me that you have a problem with my naming convention because at this point I've been doing it mostly to make Mick here, unhappy. Now I'm gonna do it to also fuck with you.
I'm not the only one you should be worrying about, though.
Why? I mean, if we just call if we just call it layer, everyone's just gonna be like, "What the hell?" on the map and not want to deal with it, and instead go invade Daehun City. Frankly speaking, it's a very good idea.
Well, do you actually want to call it layer? I've seen have that on legal records.
I mean, if you want to get into it, technically, me and my head dragon are the law. Like, I humor like democracy as far as Daehun's concerned, but it's not a democratic situation when the head dragon exists. I mean, I suppose call it whatever the fuck you want, Tom. Names tend to drift, like, Tenochtitlan and Mexico City, which, frankly speaking, is a big fucking downgrade, but that's not the point.
Look, I am well aware of this. I'm a linguist. In addition to a geologist. I'm well aware that things drift.
Honestly, I can't wait for it to be called layer in 3 separate languages.
Oh, for that, it'd have to be conquered 3 times. Well, 2.
Or, and hear me out here, I speak at least, 4 languages and am practically immortal.
Fine, honestly, we'll call it Leia.
Honestly speaking, I figured you of all people would be kind of cool just fucking with the population and switching the language arbitrarily.
Oh, sure. But you have to realize I am a lover of language.
Well, yeah, but you're also a fox spirit, and therefore a little bastard. I say that with love.
Hey, look, when I first met Radha, who, by the way, is your midwife, Fleur, she's a cleric of Diana.
No, yeah. It's Artemis, by the way. Don't you fucking use that name with me. But yeah, no, that's not a bad idea.
Twilight cleric too. But when we first met, she said, "Katu, you little bastard," and I said, "Well, if you're going to call me anything, call me what I am, a vixen, or if you want to be vulgar, a bitch."
I mean, were you born out of wedlock?
No, it's just one of those things where
Like, I get your whole literal point, but I mean, if you were born out of wedlock, you're literally a bastard.
That's one of the reasons why I brought it up.
Like, I mean, I'm pretty sure. Well, okay. Sans the literal people called the Bastard Squad in this room, most of us aren't bastards.
Most? Who's the bastards?
I mean, I'm pretty sure Kobold Society doesn't exactly have a concept of marriage.
No, not really.
And therefore, technically speaking, a bastard.
And if we want to go by definitions, then I too count as a bastard.
Yeah, so, I mean, frankly speaking, I'm kind of surprised how many of us actually grew up with both parents. That tends to be a common theme among adventurers. They just all die. No, adventurers and their parents.
Well, hold on. Your parent, well, until recently, one of your parents was still alive. Stefan, I'm pretty sure your parents are both still alive, correct?
Last I checked, which was like a year ago. Yes.
I haven't heard any rumblings about that in this, so yeah.
However, you have, at least you, Liv, have an absentee parent, and Fleur is kind of the similar, but Hua is kind of in a similar boat. Kind of. Your situation is interesting.
I mean, if you want to get into it, yeah. Though, I mean, just to throw a wrench to that whole point, just because my dad's got killed doesn't mean he's, dead.
Well, you had your father figure in your adult life. You still had one parent that was gone, which is, even if they're not dead, is still a stereotype of adventurers. Really, the one who breaks the most stereotypes here is Sterbon.
Look, all I'm saying is that it's surprising that none of us are orphans.
Yeah.
I mean, arguably, Arson was.
True.
I mean, is communal like throwing a child into the communal baby potluck orphanage, or just not having a traditional sense of a family unit? Because I mean, if both of his parents are still alive, technically he's not an orphan. The problem is that no one's really sure who his biological parents are, because everyone, and I'm using this in quotes, raised him.
Oh, that is...
Which does have a weird legal connotation for the adoption forms.
Well, if that is all that we need to discuss about the island... oh shit, what map did I bring you to? Not that one, I meant to bring you to this one.
Yeah, I'm a go. In case you can't, I mean, I am still.
Fleur, you think about it. You think about if you want to go back to the island or not. Everyone else, don't we have a place that we need to go?
You're right. Liv says, putting on the helmet teleportation and disappearing. Because she knows the teleportation circle. And also, has something from the island.
Yes.
Actually, arguably, she has a lot of things from the island. She's covered in scales from the dragon who lives there.
Oh, she actually abandoned her wife here. Well, you have a sending stone, so you can call her if you want to get to ride to the island.
There is a note, as if she did the fucking, shadow clone jutsu from Naruto, pinned to her chair. Dinner's left in the fridge. I have no fucking clue what Cerbon made last night. Don't touch it.
So we'll just move. Alright, now, Bastard Squad, are you going to stay here, or do you want to come with us to this investigation? And by the way, this is your investigation. I have no part of it. I'm just your taxi driver.
Yeah. Speaking of which, Audrey pulls out a fucking grocery bag, and inside's just a spiral cut ham. Here.
Who is she saying that to?
Oh, Todd.
Well, thank you. Now,
there are noticeable owl peck marks in the ham.
Wonderful.
Alright, well, as soon as we get to Daehun, we can probably set off. And I haven't been this far north since I was last on Earth. At least during the winter. But yes, who is going, who is not? Obviously you are going, because you asked me. You're bringing Servon and Daehun. Who else is joining this little expedition?
Silver doesn't have a say in the matter currently.
No, that's kind of the reason why I got dragged out here. Vogley is... I'm going, before you say anything, Fraulein, my father is chaotic, and despite him telling me to keep an eye on these people, I'm going for the sake of my own curiosity.
I mean, it's not my problem if you get in trouble with your dad.
Bene.
She then also will fucking sign, and also this one next to me.
Harmony, to be honest, I want to stay. She seems to lost for words.
Yes, it's smart to stay with your mother and not try and punch a tank. Punching a tank does not work.
I think it has more to do with the fact that someone has separation anxiety. Right? Separation anxiety.
Okay, well that point's also fair, but punching a tank is not a good idea. Servon, don't punch a tank. Well, I suppose if you do punch a tank, turn into a rock first.
But to make sure that you have to keep an eye on my pupil, I will stay here and keep an eye on her. The Dragonborn whom I forgot his name. Might as well keep the Bastard Squad together. I'll stay.
Understandable. Chomper,
She flies over, lands on your shoulder.
No, We can't trust Dayhoon and Sturbon to keep us healthy.
I suppose. So eventually Daeon will get down, you'll have breakfast, and then Tong will call you all around. And she'll say some words, write some stuff in the air, and there's a crack, you get the push and pull feeling. And well, what's the teleportation stuff? Shoot. Teleportation. I know it's a D100, pretty sure.
Oh, yeah, totally. Speaking of which, stuck into the spiral cut ham that she handed off to Tong. There's something from Mice, because guess who was in Mice within the last 6 months? Probably a knife. It's frankly disconcerting that she has a knife.
Well, even if she didn't have the associated object, she still would have been on target.
Right, we're confiscating the knife back.
So, when the teleportation ends, you find yourselves on an abandoned street. This looks to be a market. Or may have once been a market. You see that where there were once living trees, there are now dead trees. Off to one side, a sign creaks on its hinges. It is still nighttime, so your dark visions are helping you see things. And the 3 moons are high in the sky. But, I'll order this one. What do you do at this point?
Oh, that's disconcerting. The power grid's down. 1 second. She says, whispering to the owl, "Never mind, we have elected not to turn the power on. For reasons." She says, while the owl has turned its head 180 degrees, staring at a turret. For, let's just say, really good reasons. Now then,
Tong at this point has left your little group, has gone over to where the dead trees are, is bending over and scooping the dirt into a glass vial.
Yeah, they promised for soil samples. Okay, well, quick question. Sturbon, friend. Do you think you can, I don't know, perform tree revivify? Tree resurrection, as it were?
Alright.
She says, making a very obvious pun for the wizards.
I'll try some tree resurrection.
Tree reincarnation.
Sure.
Well, no, true resurrection is a spell.
Well, yes, true resurrection, but so
Yeah, reincarnation, if you will.
yeah, I know reincarnation is on the druid spell list. I didn't know about resurrection.
I'm pretty sure it is.
So you go and try to restore life to one of the trees, but you just can't do it. It's like it can't find any purchase.
Oh, that's distinctly a problem for future us. Let me lead you to the family estate, and also stay close. I'm gonna probably have to lead us into a side entrance because she does the fucking SpongeBob imagination hand sign. Robots. Thanks to minor illusion, a rainbow does actually form.
Yeah, the most color there is in this place. So, are you going to do this stealthily, or are you just going normally?
I mean, presumably stealthily.
All right.
Thankfully, Audrey does know about secret passageways because it's her house.
Oh yeah. So for the journey up to the estate, everyone go ahead and roll me stealth checks. Silvar, you currently wearing scale mail, which gives you disadvantage. Oh hey, it did for me.
Yeah, Mark of Shadows, 16, woo.
Oh.
Thanks, literal stealth bird.
You can change this to broccoli now. And also should be at full health. And stealth for him. Oof. Alright, Starabon, did you roll stealth yet?
I didn't realize I had to roll stuff. My internet must have screwed me over on that one. Sorry about that.
Alright, one more check. Now this one is not on the... Okay, so that's a 13, 14... Oh, no. 16, 14, 3, 18, and 5. So 3 successes, 2 fails. Okay. So, there are points where, due to some people's heavy armor, it sounds like that the automatons are heading in your direction, but you're able to avoid detection up to the point where you get to a side entrance of the estate.
We should just count our blessings that the giant robotic owl currently isn't active. Speaking of which, there's a giant robotic owl.
Oh, what the heck? Is this Bioshock Infinite?
That's. Well, no, I think more Sly Cooper, but, fair point.
Right.
Anyway, yeah, let's just go in here. It should lead us actually pretty close to the lab.
So, the estate is mostly silent, though you do on occasion hear automatons patrolling the halls. But Sterbon and Audrey. Anyone else besides not Silvar? Oh, what the heck, Ton? You're 21 passive. And Vogley. So everyone except Silvar. You do hear the sounds of footsteps that aren't accompanied by the drone of automatons operating. It is off a little bit, but you do hear what sounds like footsteps.
Neat. So, let's think positive. Yeah, I'm gonna think positive here. My soul isn't feeling weirdly complete. Don't attract that motherfucker's attention either way. She says, looking directly at Vogley and Silvar.
I'll try not to. Alright, go ahead, roll stealth checks again. I'm gonna do you first. Oh, hey, good for you. Okay. And Silvar. Oh, I forgot. Someone else is supposed to be making these checks. Huh. Oh, wait, he's gone to change it from advantage to normal. But that's still a 13. Alright, so success. Alright. So I said, we'll try not to. Right before he trips, and yet the sound of the scale mail against the stone just echoes throughout the building. Vogley goes to help him up. His armor's also making a ton of noise. Dahun's not too quiet himself. You do hear what the heck was that? Well, actually, what in the Nine Hills was that?
Oh, Grace just rubbing the bridge of her nose, like, by the hell, all of you. Looking at the heavy armor Chuckle Fox.
You have probably a round to make yourselves scarce before something gets within line of sight.
That sounds like a problem for all of you. Audrey says. Casting.
Yeah, Tong makes herself a fox and then dashes off. But, hey, we don't know where we're going, you knife ear.
I would stab you, but that would break invisibility.
What way's the lab?
Well, I would say follow my footsteps, but I think the only two that could reasonably hear my footsteps are the druid and the fox. Look, just hide. Maybe get ready to stab somebody to death.
Alright, in that case... can actually do this to designate who is who. Ah. Silver.
You cannot see Audrey's face, but one can assume it is not a face that looks pleased.
You know, why not?
Anyways,
No.
Sturbon, get advantage. The bird is now helping you.
David.
Thanks for the advantage.
Yes, I do imagine the bird's just pressed up against you, like it's taxidermied.
It's like Sturman's about to step on his second bird's like, no.
Like she knows the creaky floorboards. She lives here.
All right. All right, so Audrey, you're invisible. Cerbon, you've ghosted. You're all but invisible. I think, and you know what? I think because you said Cerbon more or less matches the token that represents him. You blend in with the shadows. Meanwhile, Vogley, he's like trying to hide behind a suit of armor, but the light coming in from the windows is just off enough from like the other suits of armor in the estate. Dayhood is just not even trying. Silver is he's managed to press himself against a wall fixture. You all see coming from around the corner, holding a for what we all know to be a flashlight, or as they say in England, a torch. Just this little mechanism that gives off light, a lot of light, and it's shining it down the hall. The first person he shines light on is Vogley and Daehoon.
Yes, let me guess. Audrey recognizes this damn robot. Automata.
It's not a robot, it's actually a human.
I mean, is it still somebody that Audrey
No.
would recognize?
It is not.
Cool. That's going to be a problem for them. As Audrey, as they turn their light, Audrey, using the fact that she's invisible, is going to hold the rapier edgewise into this person's throat, and whisper, "All right, explain why you're here."
For this too.
Yes, I'm the ghost of Meldriel Past. Slit your throat if you don't explain.
The Terror brought us here. They scavenged the Montreal technology. Well, they're gone. Sell it.
The blade presses ever so slightly closer. Oh, that's cute. You think you can get into my family's lab? "10 seconds.
So, so while you're threatening this guy, there is a bang and you can feel the. No, you don't feel anything. An object just explodes in this guy's hand as the gun he drew from a holster misfires and explodes.
Yeah, that's not one of my families. They don't do that. Wrong answer, by the way.
Got intruders!
She says, slitting this man. Yeah, she's going to slit this man's throat. Technically speaking, seeing as she has an attack, she gets an advantage on this too, because she's breaking invisibility. Oh, this is not good for him. This is not good for him.
Yeah, he did. And invisibility's ended.
She flits her her blade, flinging blood into the very conspicuous armor behind the armor that is Vogley. And sheathing the weapon.
Das ist nicht gut. He's coming out from his hiding place and coming over to the body.
I think I just turned into a elven guillotine, so you take that what you will.
I wasn't referring to your skills, Fraulein. Yeah.
No, I meant more so the fact that his head is now exploded putty that is covering, actually shockingly mostly you, Sturbod.
He goes over to where the head is mostly, reaches down and pulls out picks up a small contraption. It's very wire-like.
Okay, is this something he brought from home, or is this something that belongs here?
Roll history.
Or is it too covered in brains to really tell?
Roll history.
Alright, historical owl. Come. Thanks, historical owl.
You have never seen an object like this, but you know it's not an Eberron technology, nor is it the rest of the world technology. At least you're fairly certain about that. From your experience. But it is metal and it does use electricity, you can recognize that.
Hey, weirdo. She says, pointing over to Sofar. Can you tell what this is?
No?
I don't know. Apparently you've been to a place that, has supersonic airships.
I mean, it kind of looks like a microphone? Like a headset? Like, rests on your head, but there's like a little device that you can speak into, pretty much acts like a sending stone.
Yeah, no, I think I can gather that much. That's great. She says, she she pulls out a piece of paper and will quickly sketch out a crude looking map of the estate, and will hand it over to Silvar and going, just in case, meet here. She marks an X over where the lab should be. Don't try and pick the lock. It will shoot you. Now then, she says, she's going to wipe off this man's gray matter and try and see if she can get this thing somewhat functional. As she's going to speak into the talking piece, holding up the receiver to her ear, like, "Hey, gang, can you all hear me?"
There's a bit of static. You're not really familiar with whatever the heck this is, but you do hear it. Now look, we realize a sentry is dead, but you're obviously not here for reasons. Let us say if you continue down your path, you're in for a world of hurt.
Yeah, unfortunately, you're in my childhood home, so I will proceed to scanners all of you until you're dead if you don't leave.
Good luck getting it past the automatons.
Oh no. Oh, not the automatons. that I helped build. Whatever will I do?
There is a click, and all you hear is static.
Cool. She'll toss the fucking Bluetooth headset back to Silver. Oh no, you seem like the type of weirdo who'd like this.
Oh, okay.
Well, if nothing else, that in this current situation, you're going to be more diplomatic than I am, because I apparently have to do this a few more times. She says, motioning to the headless corpse.
All right. Well, lead the way.
Cool. Actually,
You want to split up?
she says, well, so the whole point about the lock mechanism, right? It's a completely separate problem that only locks from the inside. Therefore, she takes the map out of Silvar's hands and hands it to Vogley, not trusting Daehoon. I don't think either of you can fit where I'm about to lead the rest of us. She says, turning to the bird who is going to not so subtly nudge you out of the way, Sturbon, and open up a ventilation shaft. Fortunately, central heating and air conditioning. The rest of us have an in, is my point.
All right, so who's going into the ventilation shaft?
Well, the bird and Audrey is.
Yes, Sturbon will follow.
Because, I would presume Sturbon could fit. If not, like, literally, then turn into an animal that can fit.
Silvar is technically smaller than all of you.
Yeah, like I said, the real problem was Daehoon and Vogley. Hence why she gave them up to Vogley to lead them, hopefully, to the front door of the laboratory so they can open it from the inside.
Okay. So let's just say that those of you going first are going to have a face full of dust, since, surprise, surprise, air ducts are not as clean as they are in movies and TV shows.
Yeah. Audrey's aware. Audrey doesn't care. She's sending the fox in first.
Joke's on you if you think that she's going in there first.
All right. So far, you go first.
I don't know the way.
Yeah, but you can be like a cursed cleaning stick. Frankly speaking, any reason for me to be lazy and not have to cast Prestidigitation so you don't start sneezing in the ventilation duct.
Well, good luck, you two, and you'll get into the duct. I suppose this would be a survival check. Even though he's in the front, I'm going to make Audrey. I'm going to have you do the survival check to guide him to, or guide everyone towards the labs.
Yeah. Well, it should be worth noting, though the bird either has to go in on her own turn or is being dispelled because 7-foot wingspan.
Just pocket it.
On the other hand, if we just have the bird go in front of Sturbon, I can do this.
So you're able to get direct Silvar and going in the correct directions. Yeah. Air ducts, just to say, are not only dusty, but they are also particularly cramped. So, even Silvar is like on his hands and knees in this small space.
I fully presumed as much.
So I think, what's the order?
I would presume Selvar, Audrey, Bird. Then it doesn't really matter if it's Tongue or Sturbon afterwards.
All right. So Audrey is getting will at times get a face full of dusty tail in her face.
You know, yeah, I haven't done this since I was about 50. Fortunately, we don't exactly change the ventilation system that often.
Right. Eventually get into the air ducts above the labs. And you actually hear people in there. What is it that you would like to do at this moment?
Motion Silver to move to the other side. That way we can look down. And plan an ambush, presumably.
Okay, so there are multiple vents that you can all get a place to look down. I am going to say that it's going to be a perception check at disadvantage because it's not a good view. That is if you are looking. If you're just listening, then it's just normal.
Anyways, that sounds like a problem for people who don't have a familiar. That's still a problem for Audrey.
Wow. So, Sterbon, you looking or listening in? Wow. Leave it to the druid.
Disadvantage, I guess it doesn't matter.
Oh, here's a. Come on, Bird. Don't fail me now. Good job, Bird. You didn't fail me now with your keen hearing and sight.
Yeah, that's right. Chomper is with you.
Oh, yes. Also, the pseudo dragon should probably take a look.
Alright, what the heck?
I do not see shit. What do you mean there's 5 of them? I can only see 2/3 of one.
So, is Rhiannon listening?
I mean, presumably a bit of both, just given bird biology. She sort of has to be staring out because her face works like, a radar dish.
Okay, so in this room, there are 8 individuals. Not exactly sure what races, except for one, who is a kobold. And, well, Audrey and Silvar, neither of you can see nor hear anything, because the two of you are pretty close together, not only in perception checks, but also in the order, so the movement of his armor is kind of blocking out your ability to hear anything outside of the vents. The rest of you, i.e. Starabon and Rhiannon, are able to hear so wait, let me get this straight. Someone managed to create a soul bomb. And they are trying to connect that with a really powerful explosive. That's what it sounds like, sir. Well, I mean, we could take it with us just in case we want to sell that. I know it seems kind of a... We could get a lot of money from that. The rest of you keep digging through stuff that we haven't already stolen from years past. This voice, the voice of the kobold, is familiar to at least Starabon. It is the voice of...
What person?
Yeah. The voice of the kobold is that of Turku the Terror.
Joey.
The bird is noticeably gripping onto one of your horns, Starabon, at the hearing of Soul Bomb. Because that thing's not supposed to be working.
What the?
Like, the bird, presuming you actually can't currently understand the bird is very disconcerted.
I don't even know about it. Yeah.
I mean, the bird tends to not leave Audrey's side.
Yeah, this.
Meanwhile, like 5 feet ahead, all that's going on is, look, I can't move forward if you were on my tail.
I wouldn't be on your tail if you just moved it.
Well, I guess we're at an impasse then, because I can't move it if you can, with you on it.
Seriously, do you really need this heavy of armor all the goddamn time?
No, I don't wear it when I sleep.
Okay, well, I'm glad you're not dating. But mage armor is a spell that exists. Simply be more dexterous next time. Wait, hold up. What do you mean it's operational? Sorry, Bird is talking to me. Wait. Oh. Oh, that's not good. Oh, that's really not good. Humphrey just sort of... Well, I would turn around and look you in the eye if somebody's tail wasn't currently hooked up onto my coat.
I think that's a you problem. What does this thing do?
It's a weapon of mass destruction.
So can we activate it and not have to worry about this place anymore?
I mean, we wouldn't have to worry about anything anymore, ever. I'm not suggesting we set off the magic nuke in the basement, okay? We really should have found a better place to keep that.
Yeah, like an entirely different plane of existence.
Yeah, well, it's not my fault. I technically didn't have a say in the matter. I'm not one of the family artificers or father. But that would also explain why everything is currently fucky wucky. I can probably reverse the situation, but we're gonna need to get that thing from the. What do you mean? There's a kobold's leading them.
Yes, Turku. Can we turn on all of the security of this place and hope that the chaos and hope they
So
don't get caught in
here's
the
the problem.
crossfire?
Like, two people I think could take down the security of this place. It's the fox over there. She says very carefully, trying to motion to Tong. Well, currently entrapped in the fucking kobold tail. And Turku the Terror.
I mean, we could use the chaos to,
I'm going.
down our
Can,
opponents.
can I possibly suggest another option here?
And that would be?
Well, I mean, if you know this Turku the Terror, can we not have a diplomatic solution?
I have a guess he wants the bomb, and I have a guess you don't want to give up the bomb.
Well, I would rather it wasn't a bomb in the first place, but here we are.
Just destroy the bomb in a way that doesn't kill us all, and we can have
That's the problem. We destroy the bomb goes off and kills us further. Look, how about this? We can do this theatrically. I would do the hand rainbow thing again, but I'm caught in somebody's armor.
Isn't there the ever so slight issue that they happen to know that we took off one of their friends' heads?
Yeah, well, at the time I didn't realize that they were a party that apparently the Order of the Swan has ties to, okay?
Slight ties.
Still ties nonetheless. Look. Okay, well, here's an idea. Knowing full well that they probably can hear us and are keenly aware we're in the ducts. Don't turn into fire, Serpon. Or water.
Turn into fire. Congratulations.
If you turn into fire, everything dies.
Seems
a lot. a lot. The fucking computers that keep the nuclear reactor that powers the city running is also in this room. So if you don't want to, what did you call it, Silver? A Chernobyl to happen, don't turn into fire.
So what you're saying is if I turned into fire, I could walk out of here fine and there would be no survivors.
No, you will also be dead very quickly. And if you do manage to survive and get knocked out of wild shape, irradiated and cancerous. Let's not perhaps have the fission reactor that powers the city go critical. Can we all agree on that? She says, Brush trying to move Silvar's tail aside to speak to the vents. Hey, dipshits down in the room below us. Can we agree on not having a what did you call it? Fukushima Daiichi happen?
Having a conversation.
Look, at this point, I don't really know. I'm caught on a kobold's tail, and the only way I can think of getting out of this situation is teleporting. The problem is, I'm going to teleport into the lion's maw. So I might as well just start talking to them from up here. Speaking of which, I don't know who needs to hear this. The people currently living in your walls, and by your walls I mean my walls, are the Order of the Swan. So, hi, Turku the Tear.
So before you can even get that out, there is you hear, at least those of you that got a high for session, you hear some words being cast before all of you can hear, and at least Audrey and Silva are getting front row seat to this. 4 bolts of water just like shoot up through the vent, like right in front of the two of you, before the vent like collapses like into the room below, sliding all of you out.
You know, we probably shouldn't have outsourced the construction of this laboratory. She says, just sort of laying there. Yeah, I don't mean to do like a racism, but Tong, everything made in your homeland is cheap and shoddily made.
You say that and you notice that she is not present.
Oh, well, wonderful. I still don't mean to commit a like cultural insensitivity thing.
So, Audrey, you currently have a Yekwala in your face. Yekwala? That.
So, hey, gang.
That is such a weird looking weapon.
Yeah, move that out of my goddamn face.
Not till I know for sure who the heck you are. And you see he has another one of those like headpiece things, but it's got an additional piece where it's like a piece of glass like right in front of his eye.
Oh, great. You're pulling a, what did you call it, Silver? Dragon Ball Z. Hi.
No.
Audrey Meldreal.
Wrong reference. So, the Madriel still exists. Interesting.
Yeah. Frankly speaking,
even like on.
Yeah.
More like
let's hope for everyone's sake, yes, it is. Because if it's not, the water is going to boil off here in, like, actually a couple hours. And then it will go critical. And we will all die. Okay,
so
well, maybe not start with
we have a few hours to run like heck if we
we're not outrunning a supercritical reactor. Also, just soon as radiation hits the, weapon of mass destruction over there, she motions to the fucking soul bomb. We're dead anyways. So, crazy question. Let's say 2 questions here. One, you caused this mess, or is this entirely unrelated to you and your weird Kraken bullshit?
Unrelated. I have no idea what happened here. I'm just taking advantage of opportunities.
Yeah, I would apologize for your man that I, scanners. But I won't.
They all knew the risks when they started to work with me.
Understandable. Also,
50% of them die every time you go on an expedition, or
yeah, I'm
is that never
actually
said?
genuinely surprised, given apparently the fact that you and the Order of the Swan work together. I didn't show up, and like Daehun's entrails were spread across the city.
Okay.
Never worked together. I don't think.
Let's see. How many of you would get this reference? We are akin to an organization, a fictional organization called Cerberus.
I have no idea what that is in real life.
I mean, me as a player, no, don't understand this. Don't understand the reference. Audrey as a character only knows Cerberus as, the dog.
Yeah.
Mass Effect.
Oh.
Look, hey, no, she says, turning to one of Turkey's men, put that down. If you jostle that around like you're doing, it will turn you into a cancerous lump. That would explain why we have to, clean up piles of goop every now and then that are just weirdly human DNA.
Wouldn't those goobs, be slightly murderous demonoids?
We don't worry about it. And actually, 90% of I'm now guessing your men, we keep in that vat over there. There's just a vat that that has been turned into like a neckriker, except it's a neckriker that's been 30 different human souls grafted together, so it's just screaming in agony.
Nah, that's not.
Like I said,
Unlikely any one of my men. He said, taking the Aquila, spinning his hands before resting it on his shoulder. My men are smarter than that. After all, we've been able to infiltrate your staff for a long time, let's just say.
Clearly not that smart, because that one's still jostling around the goop gun. Seriously, dumbass, put that down. So, okay, so it's not your problem. Hey, well, I guess if you've been here, crazy question. Is said fission reactor still running?
He looks over to one of his men who has the appearance of a wizard. Based off the schematics that we've seen, looks to be it's still running.
Okay, good. Congratulations, Turbon. You don't have to worry about ecological disaster.
I think I'm already worried about an ecological disaster.
Okay, you don't have to worry about this ecological disaster. We don't talk about the skeleton forest.
It's going to become a disaster if people don't, come over here to keep the reactor working,
I think the option here right now is, she says, getting up and walking past Turku and brushing the man aside. The good option here is, first of all, once again, proving why machine labor is superior to human labor.
The said machine labor is currently genocidal.
Well, we don't have to worry about the fact that it's genocidal. I mean the fact that, we don't have dipshits like Goop Gun McGee over there trying to steal from my family.
The machine are brainless. They aren't exactly... I would say they are stupider than everyone present.
That's what you think. They're not.
Now I'm slightly more concerned about possible slavery issues.
Look, if you want to talk about an ecological disaster, let's talk about the dead false Hydra in the middle of the city, or the sole living tree that's in the courtyard.
Okay. Oh fuck, the false Hydra got out. She says, pulling up security cam feeds. Oh no! Horrifying. It's a completely unrelated false Hydra.
Yeah, luckily the three of us didn't run into it when we were first here.
Yeah,
What was the
that
tree?
thing must have come here rather recently then? Or that would explain a lot. Yeah, that would explain a lot.
Yeah, I think it just starved to
I
death because, there's nothing here.
Yeah, no, I mean, she pulls out one of her father's letters and points to a section that suddenly is talking about something completely different. That because I haven't been home, so don't have to worry about the false Hydra effects. Everyone else who's been here has to worry about the false Hydra effects. Speaking of which, none of you opened that solitary confinement chamber for the false Hydra that we have. It will eventually just starve itself to death now that we don't have human sacrifice. No, Starvon, don't worry about ethical concerns. Yes, we fed prisoners on death's row to a false Hydra we kept in our basement.
How the heck did you guys remember it existed?
It's complicated.
Probably has something to do with silence.
Sure. Yeah.
Mostly silence. Actually, speaking of which, she says typing something in as shutters up and said false Hydra containment cell, and fucking silence starts getting cast in the area again. Just in case. You know, a false Hydra is a very useful tool to just sometimes drop on a city.
You sound like my kind of woman if I were into that sort of thing.
Mildly terrifying, I'm just saying.
I mean, you found the soul bomb.
We found a soul bomb. Well,
Okay,
what did you?
okay,
what the heck did you find? You found what? Crazed journal entries and letters to the Ganomycin theocracy.
Oh, that's also. Actually, that's a new one. Can I see this?
Silver jerks his head to indicate get out of the way. Towards the guy. And steps aside.
She'll sit down in the office chair that's there. It's a very ergonomic design, good for lumbar support. Quite literally the pinnacle of office chair technology on this and almost any other world. Truly, the two things that the Meldrio family specialized in: horrifying weapons of mass destruction and office chairs. So, yeah, can I not see those research notes?
So
frankly speaking, I feel like as like the de facto leader of this lab now, I should be able to see those research notes.
Yeah, looking at them.
Right. She'll start reading through them.
So, just roll me an intelligence check to see if you can understand what's being said. I don't think you spent much time in the lab.
Not as much as her older brother. Certainly not as much. Thankfully, Bird.
Okay. So, there is The journal entries talk about how progress is going well, and the Mudrails don't suspect anything. Rook will be pleased. And the letters state that within a few weeks' time, this individual will, in essence, summon the entire population of ground mice into one location and set off, quote, the device.
Oh, neat. This doesn't explain how our troops went missing. Or the literal other half of my soul. I cannot stress this enough for you guys. The proverbial jelly bean that represents an elven soul got cut in half, and my fraternal twin brother has the other half. We have not. The gods that be for elves have yet to perform jelly bean surgery, so to speak. So, you know.
The last one, so everything went off without a hitch. Grimice and the off-worlders will no longer be a problem. The automatons will take care of both the militaries of Shimber and Bayfront. Glory be to Rook. As you're reading this, you notice that a new thing has popped up. Seems like someone forgot that things are being saved to a cloud, or so to speak. And a new draft has been written. Or is being written.
Oh, neat. Bird, keep an eye on this. I'm going to do what's called a little bit of trolling.
What is Rhiannon keeping an eye on?
Watching the draft being written as Audrey goes, Silver, you might as well open the door. Hopefully Daehoon and Sniffy are here. You, Wizlord. Come. Something tells me you can help expedite this process. She says, rolling the office chair she's now sitting in, over to another terminal, and will now try to wrest control of the Meldriel automata from whatever the fuck is causing this to go genocidal.
Okay, so Cerebon, what are you doing while this is going on?
Here, Cerebon, play with this flesh potato.
No. No. I don't know. I think. What was that he said about a tree? I missed part of it.
Oh, yeah, there's a single living tree in the city.
There's a bit more than that. But
well,
and the dead full Hydra.
Well, speaking of the tree, you do feel there's been a presence ever since you got to the estate. a feeling that you've been getting. It's just now is really the first time when you can actually focus your attention on it.
Alright. So can I don't know, nature
Yes.
sense of feeling? Oops.
That's 3d4.
I did not mean to do that. Alright, sorry.
A whopping 6. Good job.
Why did it do 3d4s? What?
I don't know. I don't know what
Mhm.
any of your stuff would require 3d4.
Yeah. Oh, the new system that came out that uses 3D4 rather than 1D20 or 2D6. That actually does kind of sound like an ND system, and I hate it.
You have felt this presence before. In fact, you have a small bit of it in that tea you made.
Oh, hey, we can make more tea here.
That's great. I mean, terrifying, we should probably uproot the tree first, but, wait.
So I think I
know
now
that's
know how that Hydra died.
Yeah, that would explain it. And I know generally speaking, Cerbon, you're against, tree murder. In this instance, I think we should do tree murder.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
But I guess we can make just a really large vat of poison tea. Actually, hand me that flask full of poison tea. You might as well run it in the mass spectrometer while we're busy.
Alright.
I'm sorry, the magical mass spectrometer. It's arcane and shit. Anyways.
So, wait, you're saying that you've discovered what's going on with the tree?
Yeah,
Okay, so
it's highly poisonous.
So, you want to go take care of that now?
So, normally speaking, I'd say, yeah, let's nip this in the bud. Can you give us, I don't know, 30 minutes tops for, my new friend, the Wizlord you brought with you? She says, patting this man on the shoulders and myself to, pull some fucking hacker man shit and make sure that the robots outside aren't trying to kill us at all times. Or are you against that?
Sir? Yeah, how the automatons in the estate are under my control.
Great. So, two things about that. First of all, hey, glad to hear it. Hand control over to the person who rightfully owns this. Secondly, I still need this one to keep, teenagers from dying in the streets. And by streets, I mean blasted heath that is a war zone. Though, hey, genuinely surprising. I guess we're, enough of a fucking wild card to force world peace, so I would say high fives all around, but I don't know which one of you belong to our staff.
So, while this is going on, the last bit that we'll cover tonight is what Rhiannon has been keeping an eye on. It says that things have changed. One of the Midrells is still alive. Somehow. The soul nukes are ready, though they are in a single location. If Turku the Terror hasn't pillaged them yet, I will get them. Glory be to Rook.
The bird just hoos menacingly.
And with that,